Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. We are here on our third meeting of the Soul Food Book Club to discuss The Return to Me. Oh my gosh, I have worked my way all the way through this book, but wherever you're at in your progress with it, you can join in the conversation if you want to be on here with us. It's great to have that discussion with each other live where we can have a conversation back and forth. So anybody that wants to come in, the link is in the book club, Soul Food Book Club on Facebook. Just come in and join with us. And I see that people are finding it on there now. You just see who's on here. It will show me. Maria, Maria Cefalo, welcome. And let us know, type in the comments if you're doing the book and where you are at with it, because we all started at different times, which is great because we can learn from each other and go over what you got from where you're at. So I just finished. I did the last one today. Linda Lemieux is watching. Linda, come on with us. Come in and have that discussion here.
Miss you, Linda. Come on.
Yeah, come on, Linda.
Maria, anybody that wants to come on, jump in here. So I finished that last chapter, but I didn't finish, if that makes sense. I read through it. I wrote out what the questions are, and now I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to really take some time to go through because there was a lot of questions in that last chapter and a lot to think about, a lot to really look at what's coming up for me, because I do have a big journey ahead of me. And I'm so grateful to Allie for this book. I am so beyond grateful for all these insights that I've sat with and examined in myself. And I've made changes. Just by doing this workbook, I have made changes in my life. So I just want to see where you all are at and open it up to anybody that would like to share your journey with The Return to Me.
I was noticing a difference today from doing the work. I'm not making excuses anymore. I'm actually making time for the things that I need to do for myself, and I'm not feeling guilty about it. Like my grandson is here, and I knew I was going to do the book club at 1 o'clock. Normally I would say, oh, ladies, I'm sorry, I can't make it. I have Jameson. I don't want to leave him out on the couch doing his cartoons or something. And I said, nope. All right, Jameson, Grandpa's going to be helping you at 1 o'clock. I have my book club, and so you're going to watch cartoons. If you need anything, get Grandpa. A friend of mine called today, a stressful anxiety situation. And I simply said, I'm working on my self-help book right now. And I said, I'll call you later. And I didn't feel bad about it. So I'm noticing, big changes in that way.
Beautiful, Stacy. I'm so glad to hear this.
And I'm not feeling well either.
Right, I know.
And I'm here. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Sometimes it's those little things that are so subtle, and then we step back and say, wow, that was different for me. Like I didn't used to do it that way before. So I'm glad to see that you're getting that insight and you're taking the lessons to heart that we are learning. Let's say hello to people that are jumping in. Suzanne Millard is with us watching. She says, I made it, yay. Jeannie Stevens from Virginia says she's on day 7 in the book. Jeannie, type in the comments what you're getting from it, how it's helping you. And Helen James is watching. So welcome, all of you. And of course, I just said Linda was in there. And Helen, yay, I got you. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you were able to come on while we're live.
Oh, sorry, ladies. Let me mute this.
So Jean or Christina, any reflections from you on what this has done for your journey?
For me, I realized that I was still holding on to some negative beliefs about myself that I didn't really think. I thought I had moved beyond some of that. And so it certainly has been making me more aware of what some of those self-doubt and self-defeating thoughts are. And I found that the daily mantra at the very last page of the book is the daily mantra. I accept myself as I am. Life is so easy for me. Life is so good. Everything always works out brilliantly for me every day and in every way. And I've added that in just to start my day. I have it actually written on a little post-it note on my bathroom mirror, so I see that and I read it whether I want to or not. The whole I am enough, I've been trying to if I start to feel my thoughts starting to turn in a negative, or I catch myself with that negative thought, then I will immediately change that tune in my head and make it into something else. Really been mindful about the word I can't. Is another thing that I have definitely been working with. I've been so tired this week. So I think there's been a lot of shifts and work that's actually being done because I really am getting enough sleep. I mean, there was a couple of days in there that I was waking up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I thought that that's what it was. But now I've had 2 consecutive days of pretty good overnight sleep. And yet I still feel, not so much in a physical sense, I feel mentally tired. So I know that there's been things happening and shifting, and that it's okay. I'm okay with being a little bit tired during this time, as long as I know the work's getting done.
Yeah, there's a lot of shifts. There's a huge energy influx, and it's affected many of us in physical ways and emotional ways. I've been so emotional this week. There were a few things that happened that added to that emotional state, but it's been just the tears are just there at the drop of a hat. You know, I can be answering a question in the book and I'm just boo-hooing. So
Right.
it's been stuff that coming up.
Now I've also joined, well, I've added the chanting in at night. And that's something that I decided I really did want to do, that so that I was focusing twice a day at least, mornings and evenings that way. And I know I said it this morning about the bookends, but that is something that I thought of over this week. I was like, you know, those are my pillars, I guess. I call them my pillars of support right there, as part of the self-care now that I'm trying to take. And I just also joined my cousin is a functional health coach, and or functional medicine health coach. And she is actually doing a 3-month challenge, and it's starting August 31st. And I know from my past history that I have a tendency, when it starts to get cooler and colder here in Michigan, I start to hibernate and I start to gain the weight and I start to fall off on my exercise because I'm such an outdoor person, but not in the winter. In the winter, I'm not so much. So I decided that instead of saying I can't, or I'm or I'm not going to do something, I decided instead I was going to join her 3-month support group that's all about health. And so that as I'm leading from September, October, November, I'm instead got another support system for my physical health, already in place. And so I'm hoping that will help me from falling back on my old bad habits and creating different ones.
Yeah, awesome. And I think that's one of the things that's asked in there. It's like, what are you going to incorporate going forward? You know, what habits can you get rid of? What habits can you adapt and bring into your experience? So that sounds wonderful, Christina. I'm so proud of you.
Me too.
I am too.
Great insight. This book is changing so many of us. And Helen James is in the audience, and she says, so far, this book has changed my life, changed the way I think, changed the way I act, and changed the way I see things in life.
That's beautiful.
I want to support what Stacy said, because, you know, I was telling them the other day at chanting, my son called right when we were going to start chanting. And he doesn't call very often. He's very busy. Some people know this. I know Terry knows it. He's a minister. So that times makes it difficult, but he's a minister. And so we called, and usually I just drop everything, you know, and I just talk to him, because that's the way I've always been, you know, drop everything, do something for the family or somebody else, you know, you're not important. And so when my husband gave me the phone, I took it and I said, honey, I need to go and chant right now. And he said, chant? And I said, yes, we've been chanting for over 70 days to bring peace to the world and love to the world, and I can't miss it. So I'll talk to you later. And he was like, oh, okay. But then he said, that's a good thing what you all are doing. That's a very good thing, he says. So the next day, I've never done this because of the situation. I sent him one of your videos, and I asked him, you know, I said, I'm not going to be bothering you and sending you all kind of messages and stuff, but I want you to watch this video to the end. And that way, one thing, you'll learn kind of the group of people I'm associated with now. And if you have any questions, you can call me. But you know, don't think I'm going to be bothering you all the time. So I haven't heard from him. So at least that's good, because, you know, otherwise he would have said, how dare you send me? You know, but he's having a hard time because in his church, so many people, let me just say this, because we're not political, but are supporting someone he doesn't believe in, that I think most of us don't believe in either anymore. And so he's having a hard time dealing with that, because he's a very kind, loving, compassionate person, and he just can't see people being unkind. And, you know, so it's been a difficult time for him. So I thought this was a good time to kind of send it along. So we'll see. But I agree with you, Stacy. I'm starting to stand up for, I'm important, actually. I'm the most important. That's what I've been writing in this last chapter. You know, that's my priority, is that I'm the important one here. Yes, I love everybody, but I have to take care of myself so that I can fill myself with love, so it'll spill over to everybody else. Otherwise, I have nothing to give. So, you know, it's been a wonderful book. Yeah, at the end, I wrote her a little note and said, thank you, Allie, for taking us on such a wonderful, glorious journey. And so, you know.
Beautiful, Jean, just beautiful. I love hearing this testimony about you standing up for yourself. You know, self first is not selfish.
Right.
And that's what we need to always keep in mind, that we really need to take care of ourselves, or we can't take care of anybody else.
Mhm.
That's the journey. It's we can't give what we don't have. So if we don't have the strength, we can't give strength. If we don't have the love, we can't give love. And that's one thing that this book helps you to examine. It's like, what's in there? This is what we did. We did like an excavation, right? We went in and we like dug and dug and dug and did that deep dive into ourselves. And it just changed everything. It really changed us. And there was some questions that I just couldn't even write an answer to yet. I'm like, that's going to take some real introspection to bring out those. And there were some, like the one, we won't talk about the ones that stood out for us, but the one that stood out for me that I did just recently, it says, pick one thing that scares me and try it out. So I had to really think, because I said, you know what? There's been so many experiences in my life that were things that I went into that low vibration of fear about. Nothing scares me anymore. It's like, I really couldn't come up with anything that there would be a fear about. And I love that. I love that. But I wrote down, nothing comes to mind other than skydiving. Not going to do that today. So that's like one of those things I haven't gotten over in this lifetime, is that fear of heights. If there is nothing to hang on to, if I have something that I'm touching and holding on to, I'm good. But free floating and no, that's not me. So there's nothing. I don't fear death. I don't fear harm. There just really wasn't anything that I could answer with that question. So I'd love to hear some of your comments. If there was a question that came up for you that you really had to just step back and say, wow, let me think about that, because I got to look for it. I have to go find it.
I have a question from way back that I still haven't answered. And I don't think I ever will, to be honest with you. It's this one, where she has you write down an example of when you've been all these things. Courageous and
Yes.
or the others. Wisdom, shown selflessness, determination. Now, I could write something for the love and the happiness, most definitely. But the ones where I have to find something where I was courageous, it would be hard for me. I mean, I can think of something, but I don't know how courageous going to school when you're 40 years old, college when you're 40 years old is, but I did do that. So,
It's courageous for you, Jean. And I think that's what we're learning too, is no comparison. So
well,
whatever
yes.
your journey is, for you, that's very courageous. And I think this is what it's bringing out for us. Really, it's what it's bringing out for us, that this is our journey. And it's how things affect us and how we respond and react to situations and to events. So for you, yeah. And for me too, I went back to college when I was late 20s, I think, when I went back into college. And yeah, it was different. But I was ready for it then.
Me too. I already had 3 children and, and everything. And they work so much in groups in college anymore. And so I thought, oh my, because when they say, okay, everybody pick their group, I said, okay, I'm going to be in a group of myself, of one. No, it's not the way it works. They like older people. So as soon as they said that, everybody would come around me. And finally, some had to go away because we were too big of a group. And every time that's what happened. But I found out why, is because they know the older person will do the work. So,
yeah.
But anyhow, yeah, I can't even explain how much this book has meant to me. And then writing my story along with it. I sent you my story. I don't know if
I
you've
got it. I haven't read it
with
yet.
all my multiple emails. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. I can't wait to read it. I just have had a very busy day at the moment, and I saw that I got it, so it will be on my to-do list.
But, you know, there's
you.
a story in there, even with all the other crazy emails you got. So, and I don't know if it's long enough, but you can tell me so.
It'll be perfect.
But it just this, between that and this book, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I think I'm a different person. I really do.
Yeah, exactly. And Helen James is saying, Jean, I couldn't answer that either.
Good. I'm glad it wasn't too
courage. Yeah, it really took some deep dive and deep introspection to go into all of those and say, okay, where did that show up in my life? And I think there was one even that I left unanswered in all that list of things. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to go do some digging and find the answer to that one.
It was hard.
I want to read another comment. This is from Suzanne. She said, I feel like I am just awakening. I only finished day 8, lots to learn and be aware of. And Jeannie Stevens is with us. She says, I'm more aware of patterns and how much I need to let them go. Being more aware has made me think of some of the reasons why I responded to things the way I did. Love my lavender Epsom salt baths. Lots of tears here too. Yeah, absolutely. And Helen says, we are changing for the better. We are, and this is a great inspirational book to guide us into some of that change. So Christina, Stacy, was there a question that sticks out in your mind that it was like, oh my gosh, don't know the answer to that?
Yeah, a few of them. The one that really gets with me, because, you know, sometimes our worst enemy is our own mind. Mm-hmm. So the questions where it says, once you start believing in yourself, that you truly do deserve the best life has to offer, you will be amazed at what you start to attract into your life. Here are some questions to ask yourself when you have a negative thought. Do I believe this thought? That's difficult. That was very, I'm only on day 8, by the way, but I've been taking my time. But so for me, it's like, do I believe this thought? I don't know. It feels real, but I'm not, you know what I mean? It's that. And is this thought true or false? What happens if it is true or false? That's pretty deep to have to think, you know, for somebody like me. So that's really something that I've been trying to think on when I get a negative thought in my mind or something. It's like, is this real? Kind of feels real, but it might not be real. So it's making me think more on that. So for me, that's a difficult part.
When you get further in the book, you're going to read what she writes about beliefs. And she says, beliefs are only thoughts you continue to think. We can change our thoughts at any time. So I love that we had to examine, is that true? So when we have something come up, is that true? And just look at it, step back and observe it. And if it's not true, then we can change that thought. We can change that pattern.
Very true. Yeah, but I'm changing. This book really is changing me. Since Josh left and he went to college and we're empty nesters now, I can finally say that without crying. And I've been emotional this week too. It's been like this morning, I called my husband in the kitchen and I said, we just need to pray because I'm the positive one here and I'm feeling kind of on the fence about some things. So we did, and I cried, and then I'm like, oh, we have book club. Oh, I cried when I'm reading the book and stuff. But then I realized since he left for college, I haven't been cooking or anything. And I feel like it's because I was taking care of him and not taking care of me, and I didn't feel worthy. So that was showing me that I wasn't feeling worthy. And since he left, I haven't been doing that. And then today I got up and I made I roasted vegetables and I made a nice lunch. And I said, you are worthy. And I was saying the affirmation this morning, you are worthy, you are worthy. And now I have healthy foods to help me. So I haven't done that since June.
Beautiful change in those patterns.
Definitely.
For me, well, there were a few that were right from the beginning. That first one, with what does your soul want? And I was like, wow, that started right off the bat. But now I find myself with the dream. What are your dreams? And I have written some things down, but I feel as though they're a little superficial, and that there's some more digging to do there. And I also think it's definitely a time for change, not just what's going on in the world. That just adds to the whole thing. But I too am, I haven't reached the empty nest completely, but my oldest said that he's looking for a place, and our youngest is starting college this year, but she's staying at home to save money, so while she goes. But still, it's that change. My role that's been here for 20 years as mom is changing drastically. And I think along with that is some of my own goals and dreams. And I think if anything, it showed me that I can take the time to assess that. And that's okay if I don't have the exact answer right now. And just give myself that understanding that things are so so changing and off kilter feeling sometimes, and that doesn't scare me, which I'm glad of. I just don't know yet what way I want to go. It's more challenging than I thought.
It is.
Please tell me you have crickets.
Oh, that would be crickets here.
Okay. I'm just worried because the other day I heard dragons.
Right. I was, yeah. Yes.
So I was said, don't tell me there's going to be some.
Yeah, I got crickets. I'm out in the country, so we have crickets.
Oh, that's
and
beautiful. I love it.
You'll probably hear all kinds of stuff. I'm hoping none of it's inappropriate.
Okay.
Well, maybe those crickets are little dragons.
Right, they could be. I've had lots of dragonflies this year, like an abundance of dragonflies. I cannot get over how many there have been.
I even saw one here in Texas, and we never see dragonflies.
Really?
Yeah, because we don't have water. They kind of like to the water, and we don't have any. And this one, I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I said, oh my goodness. Because, yeah, things are, it's weird. Things are just changing. You know, I've been feeling a lot of shifting and changing. And so,
you know, even when it's good change, it can still put a stress on someone. They've done so many studies on that it doesn't matter if it's good change, not so good change, that it's just our nature as humans to be in these habits, which is why there's a book of 21 days of changing those habits.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. It is, you know, any change is stressful, and there's some that are more stressful than others. But when we're aware of how we respond and react to stress and to anything that's different in our life, which this book is bringing out for us, you know, we're really looking at, how do I feel? How do I believe? How do I, you know, open up, and how do I talk to myself? That was one of the harder ones, where we had to to spell out, what do I say to myself that's not so good, those negative
Oh, yes.
thoughts and things we say. But I loved how it wasn't just left that way. It was like, okay, now turn that around.
Mhm.
State the opposite of that and write that out. And it felt so good when you wrote out the negative stuff, because I've got negative stuff I say to myself. I try not to, but there are things that come up. And then writing the opposite just felt so good to go into the positivity. And I found that I manifested right away when I did that. When I changed that thought and put something different there, I started manifesting. So it's just amazing.
It is interesting how it doesn't take very long. I too feel that way. It's like an instantaneous, when I realized that I was using certain language with myself, and it was just as soon as that thought came to my head that was not the way that I should be viewing things, as soon as I just made that change in my head, even it changed everything. It lifted the mood, just immediately. I was like, wow, that's a lot of baggage. That's a lot of pounds to carry along unnecessarily.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I used to listen to Abraham, and as I've been decluttering and uncovering some things that I had just stuck away in the closet, I came across a notebook from, oh my gosh, almost 7 years ago, I think, where I had been listening to Abraham, and I was writing down things that were really profound and that I was resonating with. And so after starting the challenge that Allie made of listening to those affirmations, that video that I shared with you all, I started listening to that video, and on my YouTube, it just continues to pull up videos. It doesn't just stop with the video you're listening to. So all of a sudden I had manifested some Abraham videos. So it was like Allie's affirmations would play, and then all of a sudden there's Abraham. It's a good day. It's a really good day. And I'm thinking, I didn't play that. I haven't played that one at all, but it just showed up for me. And that's what I'm saying. We're manifesting quicker when we change that mindset to the positive. And that's what this is all about, is changing our mindset, changing those beliefs. The belief that we have lack, and when we go into we have abundance, it starts to open up for us, whatever that abundance looks like.
My lights keep dimming. I don't know what's going on.
You're getting a message.
You know how at the end of the book, now I know some of you aren't there, but she talks about looking in the mirror every day. It's about looking in a mirror every day, talking to yourself, seeing yourself. And you know what I realized? I've been doing that, not in a mirror per se, but when we chant every night, I see myself in the square. So I've been been able to actually like this person that I never, every time I saw myself, I try to avoid mirrors at all costs, usually. And then every time I saw myself, it was like, oh, no, and, but seeing myself every day in the chanting, I've gotten to where, I started off by saying, okay, well, she's not too bad. Her hair's not, but it's gotten to where, I've gotten to where I kind of like myself, and then everybody there is so loving. I mean, it's just, we're in like a bundle of joy and light and love. So I'm sure that contributes to it. But I have been doing that, and that is a really profound experience. So I'm sure you have experience too.
Yes.
Seeing yourself. And Christina?
Absolutely. And Jean, that's a good point. If you don't want to just stand in front of your mirror, you can turn your phone on and look at yourself on your phone and just talk to yourself. And Louise Hay was the one that first brought out the mirror work and how important it is to talk to ourselves and do that self-talk. And I love that Allie incorporated that in the book as well. Yeah, every morning when I go into the bathroom, my mirror has a heart and my face falls right in that heart. And then I wrote on the mirror some of the affirmations. I am worthy. I am enough. I am loved. So I see that first thing every morning. But to actually sit, like I think she suggested 10 minutes, if I remember correctly, to do the mirror work, to talk to yourself for that long. And just every day, just like you were having a conversation with somebody else, every day, just hold that conversation with yourself. You know, and if you want to make it light and funny, just look at yourself and say, how are you doing? Do a little check-in.
Oh, come on, I can't find
Well, I
it.
think I've mentioned this before. I had that, it was in 2013, I believe, because I was in my massage therapy school. And I was having some trouble with that whole mirror work as well at that point. And I realized that I was telling myself every morning, I have to fix my face. What an awful thing to say to myself every single day, that I'm fixing my face, as though I'm telling myself that my face was broken. Okay, every day is basically what I was saying. So I definitely changed. Now when I do decide to wear makeup, which is not terribly often, but I will every once in a while. Now it's changed to, I'm going to decorate my beauty.
Oh.
And that was something that has still stuck with me. And it's so now when I look at myself and I say, well, what I'm gonna put some makeup on, literally I start looking for places that I want to decorate my beauty first, instead of trying to find flaws first, which was my default.
Right.
That's a beautiful way of looking at it.
That is,
I love that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
3 minutes a day.
3 minutes a day. Okay. Well, you can do 10 minutes too if you want.
Sure. I'm not
Every
that
time you're
interested
talking to.
myself for more than 3 minutes.
But I love that, Christina. And you know, it's so true. Before we become awake and aware of our beauty on the inside, we do pick ourselves apart. I used to do that. I used to see every flaw, you know, and just really pay attention to things that I would love to see different. But now it's like such a familiar thing to go in and say, I love you. I love you, and you are worthy, and you are loved. And just give myself that talking to every morning in a positive way instead of picking things apart. So thank you for bringing that up, because it's a very good point. So Helen is talking to you, Jean, and she says, you are smiling more, Jean, a very beautiful smile too.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I am. I always never smiled. You know, I do this kind of, you know, not in my mouth or anything. And I don't know, I'm more confident in myself now than I was. And I wrote that at the end of the book, is that I've gotten to where I like myself. You know, it's like she asked like something about, I don't think it was at the very end, but how would you change your life? If you could go back and rewrite your life, how would you do that? You know, what would your life should have been?
Right.
And my answer was pretty short. I said, I wouldn't change a thing because I like who I am now. So, and I think that's true for me. You know, yes, there were a lot of things that, you know, other people would say, oh, poor thing. Well, probably when you read my story, you will say that. But, you know, I'm glad for those things now because I like myself now, and that shaped me. So, you know, so.
Absolutely. Well, we like you a little bit too, Jean.
Well, that's one reason I like myself more, because you all like me too. You guys are so
Lift
great.
each other
I
up.
can't be wrong. You know?
I find you to be a very kind, I haven't met you other than on here, but you just speak to my soul as a gentle, kind, and compassionate person that I can 100% trust. I mean, that's just, when I look and interact with you, I don't think you know how much your soul speaks. But anyway, to me, that's what it says. Every time I see you, I am just immediately calmed by your very presence. That's a great
I'll
gift.
second that.
So see, how could I not
I
like
second that.
myself after you know, after you all tell me things like that, how could I not like myself? You know, so I
Exactly.
really do, and I love all of you so much.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
And
love you too.
Linda Lemieux says, I think sometimes we take ourselves for granted. This book is so inspiring and gives us so much food for thought.
Mhm.
It does.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could share this book with the younger people so they could work on themselves now instead of when they're, you know, my age or whatever, and just learning. I know there's divine timing and everything, and I'm so grateful to be learning what I'm learning now and becoming who I am now, but I wish I would have known a few things in a different light when I was younger.
Me too.
So agree.
So maybe that's something speaking to you where you could go and work with the younger people, or do something to help them, because honestly, we aren't taught certain tools in life that really would have been helpful. When I look back and I'm like, why did I do trigonometry when I could have had this or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah, and so maybe that's just a nudging to you. You would be able to help fill that void, and reach out to the younger people and say, hey, we do have tools. I think I don't want to speak for everyone here, but there's a certain time when you've reached enough experience. I don't think it's age so much as it is experience, where you do become an elder. And I keep getting told, especially in this last year, that it's really time for the elders to come out and lead. And so I don't know, that just made me think of that again, that it's time to come out and lead again.
Well, that's true. Very true.
The angels have been speaking that very loudly, that it's time for us to stop being idle and to really step up to what we're here for. So yeah, maybe there's something like a mentoring that can happen, Stacy, with some of the younger people.
Maybe I can incorporate it in my reverendship.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Well, I think, ladies, in the time that we have left, I would love to see us give some appreciation to Allie and just state whatever you want to state to her at this time, because I know she's going to watch this on replay. And then the second thing is we're at a point where we need to decide what the next book is going to be. So we've made some suggestions in the group. If you all will go in and look at that, and if you have something that you want to add in there. That was thunder.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I gotta go drive in that.
Oh no.
But if there's something a book that calls to you and you'd like to have us look at that for the future, just type in a suggestion. We need to decide within a day or two what our next book is going to be. Okay. But let's just give some appreciation for Allie. I just don't even have words enough. And thank you just seems so trite. It's like, It's life-changing, and I've said this so many times. I've said this from the very moment I picked it up and started doing that very first chapter, that this book is so life-changing. And Allie, you're in my heart now. You're in my heart. And I really appreciate every word, every question that you had us dig into. The whole thing, to me, it was just perfectly put together to guide us in this journey of self-discovery, of getting back to loving ourselves. And, you know, it's really elevated that level of self-love inside of me. So I just want to thank you so much, Allie, for this book, for this opportunity to share it with each other. You know, it's good when you're studying something on your own and doing that journey on your own, but look at how close we have all gotten and knowing each other a little better by sharing our experience with this. So thank you to you, Allie, and many, many blessings. And I hope this book sells 1 million copies, because it needs to reach as many people as possible.
Absolutely.
I would like to tell her just a line from my story, that because her book helped me as much as writing this story. So just one of the lines in my story towards the end was, and this is what she's done for me. She's helped given closure to the unbearable pain of a little girl who thought she was unloved and unlovable. And that's the way I feel, is that, you know, all my life I've kind of felt that I deserved what I got because I was unlovable. Of course, that has to do with my background, but she helped me to find that I am lovable, I am worthy. And now I can put that little girl to the side a little bit, just know that I love her, and she knows I do, and be who I need to be. So Allie, I don't see how you could have been any more important to me. I really don't. I love you, honey.
That's so beautiful, Jean. And yes, I'm crying because I'm very emotional.
We're all
Beautiful,
emotional.
beautiful words. Thank you, Jean.
Yeah.
Thank you so
And
much.
I want to say, you know, Jean and I seem to have the same story. And yeah, I feel like emotional. I wouldn't be where I am if she didn't write the book and you didn't tell me about it. So I'm very grateful. And I'm not much of a crier or a sharer. So it's changed me to be able to do this. So thank you.
Absolutely. You're stepping out of your comfort zone. That's one thing that I've noticed
Big
with this
time.
book. Yeah. Thank you, Stacy. I love you.
Love you.
For me, Allie, of course, thank you, Allie, for writing it, for listening to whatever guidance you were being given to write this. For me, it is allowed me to recheck. It's almost like a gyroscope. For a minute, my gyroscope was kind of going around and around and around, and I didn't know how the heck to stop it or become a little bit more focused. And this has certainly tuned me in again. I have done work in the past, and it never occurred to me that I might have to continue to do this work. And so this, not only I would like people to know that even if you have done some of the self-help and that work, and that there are just times that I now can see I have to kind of reevaluate myself. And this was perfect and is proving to be perfect for me to kind of come back into myself and touch base with myself and see where I really am in this moment, and kind of peel back some layers in a methodical way, in an easy to follow way. No, I'm not saying some of the answers were easy, but you made it easy for me to say, okay, let's get this jumble of things that are being tossed around and kind of let me tune right in. It was like it came right into focus certain areas that I could definitely use some improvement in. And that for me was what I needed, was that kind of guidance. So thank you.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Christina. I'm reminded of the saying, when the student is ready, the master will appear. And I feel like Allie has been our master through this part of our journey. So, so many blessings. And Suzanne is on and she says, Allie, I love, love, love your guided meditations. Love your voice, the background music, everything. And thank you. Allie, you've added so much to our lives. And we just want to thank you for that. And hopefully this will warm your heart when you watch it today on the replay. And I know Allie did, she made a post and mentioned if we could all give a review of the book, that would help her as well and help others to see how, what it meant to us and how important it is for others to have this book and to work through it. So I am willingly going to do that, and we'll share that onto Amazon for you, Allie. So thank you. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here. I love you. I love you. I love you.
I love you.
Love you.
Love you.
So beautiful. So we are going to end with that. And if you're in our Soul Food Book Club, please go in and let us know what you want to do for the next book, and we will get started on that right away. Okay. So take care, everyone. Bye for now.
Good luck with your travels today.
Yeah, thank you. I don't travel well in the rain, so this
Yeah,
is
it didn't sound, yeah.
okay. I'll get a head start anyway.
Right, good for you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye,